Hi cookie friends, welcome back to Lights Camera Cookies. So today I wanted to show you a very easy beginner type set that you can make for a christening. So I first want to start off with my lamb design. So this was a lamb cookie cutter that I honestly got quite a while ago. So I'm not sure if I will be able to link it, but if I find one similar, I will link that in the description. So I outlined my lamb cookie with my white glaze icing. I do use a glaze icing as opposed to royal icing. I do prefer the taste of glaze better and working with it. And as you can see, I'm using a tipless bag. I used to use a tip in my bag until I realized that this is just so much better for me. So there's no tip, I just have my plastic bag, and after I'm done outlining all of my cookies, I just clip the end of the bag and make that the hole a little bit bigger for the icing to easily come out of. This is a really great consistency that I made this time, not too thick, not too thin, so it was quite perfect, and it came out really nice and smooth. I let this dry for a full 24 hours because I knew that I wanted to use my edible ink marker on it to make an eye design. Definitely, if you are going to use an edible ink marker, definitely give it enough time to dry. I do recommend 24 hours because if you try to draw on your cookie when it is even the tiniest bit not ready, your marker will go right through it or the color will even bleed. So we would like to avoid that. So definitely give it enough time to dry. So you can see I made a little crescent shape with 3 little eyelashes. I thought that was quite sweet, especially for a little baby girl christening here. I put a bow. It was a really simple bow, actually. I mean, it was a sideways 8 or an infinity symbol. So that is something that is quite easy that you can do. And then I just brought the tassel part down on the bow and curled that up. I also made this same exact design, but with a blue bow a year or two ago, and it came out really cute. All right, so there we go. The bow is all set. And I just wanted to finish off that little collar part, for it to go around its neck. And I filled in that bow just a little bit more to give it a little bit more height and dimension. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take my white glaze icing. Now in this case, I did thicken this icing a little bit. The icing that I had used the first time was a perfect consistency for flooding for me, but I just thickened this up with a little bit more powdered sugar, just so when I came in and made these little curly Q lines or little fluff lines for the lamb, this icing would really hold up and not, kind of melt back into the cookie. So this was a cute little easy design. And again, if you ever want to stiffen up your icing, whether it's royal icing or glaze icing, a little bit more powdered sugar should do the trick. And I came back with my pink icing and just put little cute pink hooves. I thought that was very sweet. Rather than making, black hooves, I tried to coordinate all the colors and make it all a nice little design. So there we go. There is our lamb. Our next cookie is another really versatile shape. I absolutely love the scallop cookie cutter. Now, I do have to say that my filming of the actual cookie did not come out right. The cookie should be pink, but I did want to show you at least how to properly fill and prepare a scalloped shaped cookie. So this icing is white. The end result will be pink. So I outlined my scallop shape with my white glaze icing, and I cut the tip of the bag a little bit bigger, and I came in and I just filled in all of those little curves. And then I'm going to come back in, and you're going to see I'm just going to go like in a printer motion almost, just back and forth and back and forth. And again, this is a pretty good consistency icing. How do I know that? It's not falling out of my piping bag. Sometimes I make the icing just way too runny and I can't even hold the piping bag without it just, pouring out of it. So that would be too thin, but this one was quite perfect. And this is my scribe tool. If you can see at the top right hand corner, I did not get that icing to touch the end of my flood line. So I just used my little scribe tool to push it. Okay, so now here's the real pink color that the cookie should have been. And I wanted to pipe or decorate it with a bee for baby. So I have a really great website. It's called Da Font. That's right, Dafont, DAFONT.com. And it has really great fonts that you can choose from. And I have a projector, which I will link in the description. It is a wonderful projector. I mean, the projector is so close to my cookie and it is so clear and it just hooks right up to your computer. You know, I also used to think that using a projector was like cheating or that I wasn't good enough as an artist to be able to write my own thing, but I realized that after making 100 of these, I need help from that projector. So I've got my B outlined right there, and then I'm gonna come in with my flood icing and I'm gonna go ahead and fill that. So yeah, I have learned over the years of doing all this that there is no shame in having help with tracing. Again, like I said, when you're doing 100 of these cookies, I just do not think that I would be able to consistently draw the same bee over and over and over again on a cookie without it starting to look a little bit odd. So I do rely on my projector for bigger orders. So this is actually coming out quite nice. It was another good consistency icing to fill this in with. I also, with my white icing, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but in this case I did. I dyed my icing with a white food coloring. So Wilton has a good white food coloring, and it just helps to brighten your white. Especially if you use vanilla in your recipe and you're not using a clear vanilla and it's more like a brown vanilla, it can kind of tint your icing. So if you just counteract that with some nice bright white food coloring, that should do the trick. All right, so I'm gonna take my scribe tool and just smooth out, that's a cute scribe tool, let me say, I got it from Etsy and I love it. And I'm just going to smooth out any of the bumps or bubbles that came in on this letter. So that way when it dries, it'll be perfect with no craters or any kind of weird lumps. All right, and so there is the finished product for that. And let's go on to the last cookie of the set. Here's another really versatile cookie cutter that I have that I really do love to use. It's a really nice plaque. So I'm going to go ahead and outline this. And then I'm going to do my regular flooding of this cookie. And I'm just going to speed this section up a little bit so you don't have to sit through the extreme real-time decorating. You know, it's hard sometimes when you see on TikTok or Instagram these really sped up versions of cookie decorating that are done in about 20 seconds from start to finish. It takes maybe about 2 minutes to flood this cookie if you want to do it the right way. So let me speed this up for you a little bit. It is definitely more satisfying to watch though at a sped up rate. It looks really pretty, looks really pretty to watch that. Okay, so now that is all done. I let this dry for another full 24 hours. And then I came back in with my projector and that website, Dafont. And I chose a font that I thought was nice for the words God bless baby. And of course, if you're making these cookies, you can have it say anything. You can type in anything in the search bar and then pick the font that you would like to see it in. And then it's really as simple as that. So I do definitely recommend this website and I recommend the projector. So I'm going to speed this up just so you don't have to sit through about 5 minutes of me piping this. One really good tip that I have is to add some Crisco into your glaze icing to help the structure of your icing so it's a little bit thicker and easier to pipe out. Sometimes if you choose to only add powdered sugar to your icing, it becomes really difficult to get out of the piping bag. So I add in a little bit of Crisco and it kind of makes it like a buttercream. You know, now you have like a little bit more fat in the base of your icing and it really does help to get that to come out nice and smooth. Sometimes, well, before I realized that I could put Crisco in this, it was a struggle sometimes and I would break so many piping bags because I'm trying to squeeze out a really, really thick consistency icing for writing. So I have learned from that and I would like to pass that on to you so you do not have to struggle with that. All right, another thing that I absolutely love is this edible glitter spray from Wilton. I'm sure there's other brands, but I found this in Michael's or Hobby Lobby actually, and I just loved it. So look at that glitter, you just spray it on and it's a beautiful shimmer dust, and I think it just adds so much. Now, the other part I wanted to show is you could leave the cookies just like that, or as another option, I piped out some not royal icing, I piped out some glaze icing flowers with that Crisco. And I wanted to show you what it would look like if you want to dress up these cookies a little bit more just by adding some nice rosettes. And I think that is so sweet and it really elevates the design. I think it looks great both ways, but I am an absolute sucker for three-dimensional pieces on a cookie, so I really think that just heightens it so much. Let me know what you think. If you were decorating these cookies, would you want it with the flowers or would you want it without? I'm just curious. I think they both came out really nice. I hope that you enjoyed watching this. I hope that this helps you. I hope I gave you some good tips and tricks. Pop any questions you have down in the comments and I will see you next time, cookie friends.